Hello, Zohar Rubinstein here, with my review of the Public Physics lecture at Georgia Tech, From Urination to Georgia Tech's First Ig Nobel Prize by Dr. David Hugh. So first off, this was just a great lecture. It was informative, it was thought-provoking, and entertaining, which is really all you can hope for in a lecture. To be perfectly honest, I hadn't really planned on staying until the end. I had other work to finish, and I was just going to show up for a bit and leave, but I ended up staying until the Q&A was over. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Dr. Hugh spoke with a combination of casual confidence, humor, and intelligence that was both interesting and fun to hear. The lecture focused on two things: Dr. Hugh's research that led to the Ig Nobel Prize, and the concept of science humor and the Ig Nobel Prize itself. The story of his research and the interesting work that went into it, namely taking many videos of various animals urinating, was hilarious, but was also a very good example of observational science at its most basic level. And the fact that it could be just that, both hilarious and immensely scientific, was really the heart of the lecture. I had heard of the Ig Nobel Prize before, but the more general concept of science humor was relatively unknown to me. I find it a fascinating and important concept to add humor or other attention-grabbing devices to scientific discoveries in order to attract the attention of the general public. It's not an easy thing, getting most average people to care about science, when there is still a certain stigma that says that science is only for the geeks or the professionals who are often portrayed as geeks. I think science humor is a great way to get around that stigma. The real question then becomes, how do you manage to keep the real science while you're adding all this humor? And I think Dr. Hugh did that quite well. His findings, that all mammals seem to urinate at the same rate, are interesting, and, in my mind at least, raise more questions than they answer, such as why that would be so, or how that could possibly have evolved. My guess is that any research conducted to answer those questions will be filled with just as many shenanigans as Dr. Hugh and his grad students' research. I really enjoyed the lecture, and it convinced me to seek new ways to find the humor in any scientific research that I'm involved in someday. I would rate this lecture 10 out of 10. This has been a review of the public lecture From Urination to Georgia Tech's First Ig Nobel Prize. Thank you, and farewell.